So there's a lot of talk that Tesla stock may hit 300 right before the robotaxi event. And I do have some thoughts on this. I do think if you guys are following me on X, if you guys aren't, I don't know what you guys are doing. And if you guys aren't on X, man, you guys are missing out on one of the coolest communities. I love it, man. I freaking love it. Shout out to Farzad for getting me into freaking X or Twitter, man. Shout out to him. Love that guy. But my thought is, or what I'm thinking, is that the 1010 or the stock price, if it's going to reach 300 or even high, whatever it's going to be the sell the news event. Why? Because I think Wall Street analysts are going to look at this and say, okay, there's a cool concept, the car's driving itself. And here's the thing, if things don't go wrong, you know what I mean? If things don't go wrong, remember in Cybertruck 2019, the event, how they threw the ball, they said the glass are like, bulletproof, and it broke. Well, that something went wrong. But this robotaxi event is very historic. It's a bigger deal than Model 3. So if things don't go wrong, and if the analysts don't get what they want to hear, it's going to be sell the news event. If Elon comes out and says that, yeah, this robotaxi, we're going to start, being on the roads in 2 years, they're going to say, okay, 2 years, we care about 6 months, we care about 12 months. It's going to be sell the news event. Absolutely. However, though, if he comes out and says that, yeah, we're going to be launching in the second half of 2025 with this many fleets and we should be expected, well, I don't think they're going to say it, but if he does mention numbers, then Wall Street is going to put a value to that. They're going to go, okay, if they're going to start the second half and this vehicle is this much, because I'm pretty sure the robotaxi vehicle, I think could be sold to customers. I don't know. I'm not too sure. My gut says is that in the beginning it won't be, but then later it will be because there's still a lot of testing you got to do with the robotaxis and stuff like that. Because it's yes, proof of concept is there, but Tesla needs to be sure that this thing can drive all on its own without anybody or any supervision. So I think they're gonna test it out themselves. If they generate any revenue, they're gonna keep it for themselves. I think that's the first goal. That's the first phase of how they're going to do it. However, though, is Tesla stock gonna reach 300? My view here is if Q3 earnings is a beat or even a met expectation, then we could possibly see a sustained stock price trajectory to 300 or even stay at 300 if it hits 300 by 1010. If it hits 300 by 1010, it's 100% sell the news event because I don't know what they're going to say to sustain it because the earnings right now, again, if Q3 doesn't come as a beat or as a met, the fundamentals don't support 300. Yes, interest rate cuts do affect it a lot, and the more it gets cut, the higher the stock will go. But to sustain it through fundamentals, it has to be Q3 earnings, has to be a beat, or at least a met expectation following with Q4. Q4 has to be a beat. It needs to be a beat in Q4. But on X, this is what I wrote. My pure thought. Many talk about Tesla stock hitting $300 right before 1010. If this happens, then there's a very high chance of a sell the news event. As I mentioned earlier, if it reaches 300, I think it's going to be sell the news event, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. That's a big roar up. This is based on hype. It's based on hype. And if they deliver on it, maybe it could stay. But then we need Q3 earnings to be a beat in order to secure it or sustain $300 per share. That's what we need. These are my thoughts of Tesla hitting 300. Now, have the possibilities increased since 2 months ago? Hell yeah. Heck, I'm even saying in the next 12 to 18 months, I believe Tesla's gonna reach an all-time high. Tesla stock's gonna reach an all-time high. And again, guys, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion and my opinion alone. I'm just some guy on the internet who's going all into Tesla stock because the things that I believe in is now slowly manifesting. That's just me. So don't take everything I say that's facts or whatever. It's not financial advice. And sorry if I'm talking too fast because I got a flight in a couple hours and I got to go to the airport. I'm going back to Kuwait. Gonna miss Toronto, man. But hey, gotta go make that money, you know what I'm saying? So we can buy more Tesla stock. But that's my thoughts when it comes down to $300 per share for Tesla. Now, my stock price prediction for Tesla end of this year is 350. And I don't care what anybody says. It's 350. Even though if it probably closes at 280, maybe even at 300, maybe at 260, whatever, I think in all and under the valuation of Tesla, when we look at a long term, right now, I think by end of the year at least, is worth 350. For crying out loud, man. They have data that nobody else has when it comes to full self-driving. This This on its own should be worth trillions. That's just my opinion. This alone should be worth trillions, but it's not. And the fact that Tesla stock or Tesla valuation is below 1 trillion baffles me. It really does baffle me. Yes, I get it. The fundamentals don't support. The earnings are, if it reaches like, a trillion, that means it needs to have a PE of like, I don't know, like 120 or whatever it is. I get it. I understand. The fundamentals are not there yet. And to be honest with you guys, if Tesla stock actually hits 300 right before 1010, I'll be dumbfounded because that's insane. That's absolutely insane. But again, my stock price is 350 because of all the things that I think that analysts are not adding to the valuation, which includes the data, which includes the trillions of assets they have on the road collecting data that all of a sudden, with the snap of a finger, like here's the crazy part, with the snap of a finger, a whole robotaxi fleet can come alive. Those who are willing to put their vehicle on their network. It's like an Airbnb, Uber. It's like what Elon is saying. Like this is an overnight thing. This is like, as Elon said it himself, and I said it so many times on the channel too, it's gonna be the biggest asset increase in any company overnight in history. Because all of a sudden you're gonna have like 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, 1 million vehicles just collecting, rides and generating money for Tesla. It's gonna be insane. If that's not bullish, okay, if you don't believe in that, believe in every single Tesla on the road, at least in the first developed countries, they get access to full self-driving. 1 over-the-air update, you can now subscribe $100 a month, $200 a month, $300 a month full self-driving across millions of vehicles. Yes, right now it's North America. China's coming soon. Europe is next. Next thing you know, go down 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and it's gonna be most, countries in the world. This is gonna be a feature that a customer that wants to buy a vehicle, this feature must be there. You have no idea how convenient it is for you not to drive anymore. I'm not saying I'm anti-driving. I'm not. Absolutely. Sometimes I love driving. But if it's the same route, same traffic, if I'm driving 2 hours north and all I see is just a pavement and nothing else, I don't want to drive. I want to hang in the car. I want to talk to people. I want to maybe get productive, maybe make YouTube videos. I don't know. The amount of time you get back from not able or not wanting to drive for 2 hours or every day 1 hour or whatever it is, however people drive in rush hour, that time is back. The productivity you could do. Heck, you can't even go take a nap if you want. You know what I mean? Like this is the reason why I went all in into Tesla stock. And it's just, I don't know, to me it's a no-brainer for me to go all into Tesla stock, and that's why I have it at 350 end of this year. The likeliness of it hitting 350, I don't know. I'm going to give it a less than 10% chance or less than 15% chance. Likeliness of finishing at 300 end of this year is more realistic. What's more realistic, it may end up the same price as last year, but if we're getting more interest rate cuts, that's what I'm saying, 300 to 350 around there, I can see it happening by end of this year. Again, not changing my price target of 350, not at all. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. Comment down below. Do you guys think it's going to be sell the news event when it comes to Tesla on 10/11, right? 10/10 is the event. 10/11 is when, the next day of it. Do you think it's going to be sell the news event? And do you think Tesla stock is going to hit 300 on that day? Let me know. Let me know if it's going to roll up to 300. For me, for it to sustain or even go to 300, we need to have a Q3 beat. We need to have that beat in order to secure it and to sustain 300. Other than that, man, the earnings, man, the business, we have to be realistic here. They went from 30% plus margins to now 14, 15. They're not making as much money. The revenue is growing, but they're not making much money. And if you want to just focus on this alone, which a lot of analysts do and Wall Street does, then yeah, it's hard to see a stock price being sustained at 300. But if you want to dig deep and look at what Tesla's actually doing with their data, with their full self-driving, with crazy technology that they're doing, forget the energy and the bots and all that, this is an easily over $1 trillion stock. Easily. But Wall Street analysts, they want to see that on paper, top and bottom line. They want to see that so they can justify their investment. Even though the horizon is only 6 to 12 months, that's all they care about, 6 to 12 months. But us Tesla investors, we care about until the end of the decade. And that's where we're going to make most of the money. In fact, when you look at Tesla stock every 5 years, if you've been holding the stock for at least 5 years or 6 years at max, you've made a lot of money. You've made a lot of flippin' money. But that's what I think about $300. if Tesla's gonna hit it, if not, and what I think about what's gonna happen with the, with the stock price the next day. I think it's gonna be a sell the news event unless something phenomenal happens, and I'll be live streaming this as well. So it's gonna be flipping interesting. But Q3 is very important because, as I mentioned before, if we beat, that's amazing. If we meet expectation, that's good as well because we're not missing anymore, right? But if we meet or above that, it's gonna be great. We have Q3 deliveries coming up, I think in about a week or two, the first few days of October, and I've already estimated on what I think the delivery is going to be, and I think it's gonna be a little bit better. No, expectations right now is like 460,000. I think it's gonna be more than that for sure, based on the strong sales they have in China and in North America. Europe, not so much, but I think it's gonna be a really good surprise, and that's what I think is going to get Tesla a good Q3 earnings. And I made a video about it right here. You guys can check it out, and it's in detail too. You'll see what the stock price, what I think the stock price could be, and all that, including the interest rate cuts, the robotaxi event, all that kind of stuff. It's interesting. Check it out, guys. Subscribe. I gotta go catch a flight. Do me a favor, check some of the merch. If you guys like it, use 10% discount, 10% off discount code DIPCatcher, and support me that way, or become a channel member. I love you all. I'll see you guys when I'm in Kuwait. See ya.